This honestly kind of feels weird to say, but Nintendo actually lost. By all means, Nintendo is far from unfamiliar with the courtroom. And although I'm sure Nintendo lost plenty of times in the past, Nintendo is kind of somewhat infamously known for suing individuals or companies just to prove a point. For instance, look no further than last year when Nintendo decided to file a lawsuit against Yuzu. To a certain degree, I feel like a lot of people could at least understand why Nintendo was upset, considering that the Yuzu emulator could play Nintendo Switch games, their current console. This of course could theoretically lead to piracy, but even if piracy did happen with Yuzu, realistically it wasn't costing Nintendo millions upon millions per title each time they released a game. Especially considering that the average consumer probably doesn't even know what an emulator is, let alone Yuzu specifically. But what truly made this court case really controversial is that Nintendo was almost challenging the legality of emulation itself. They did this by focusing on the circumvention of DRM, or digital rights management, that can happen due to these things like emulation. Or you can also look at the Palworld situation. Although I personally didn't vibe with the game all that much, mostly because, I don't know, something just felt off about it. I still think it was an excellent thing that Pokemon had something of a competitor. And although it might have not been done right away, eventually a lawsuit was filed against Palworld's developer Pocket Pair because both Pokemon and Nintendo were alleging that there was patent infringement related to the game's mechanics that were similar to Pokemon. Then in the end, of course, Pokemon and Nintendo won their case. But in their latest lawsuit, a Costa Rican grocery store finds themselves in Nintendo's crosshair. When the grocery store by the name of Super Mario went to do their routine trademark registration, they turned around to find Nintendo on their heels. This was Nintendo once again demonstrating that you can't mess with their IP. You're not going to simply take the names of someone that's super recognizable like Mario and create the Super Mario grocery store. But although Nintendo most likely believed that this case was going to be hook, line, and sinker in their favor, it was actually the grocery store, Super Mario, that won. Because in their appeal, Nintendo claimed that they would have the exclusive rights to the name Super Mario because it was registered for trademark in various different classes including clothing, games, and accessories. However, the grocery store was actually going to be registering their trademark under the International Class 35. So even though Nintendo's registration covers 45 categories of things, it doesn't include the specific class for suppliers of basic food products, which meant Super Mario was within their rights to file their trademark, and that Nintendo just had to sit on their hands on this one. However, I can't help but feel that there's a silver lining to this story. But first, if this is your first time here, hey, my name's Akadrian and I post weekly Nintendo videos just like this. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, I would greatly appreciate it if you would simply consider to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's go right back into the video. First, I'd like to point out that this is 100% a Nintendo channel, and I love seeing Nintendo win, typically, but in cases like this, I'm glad they lost. Because like I said multiple times in this video, Nintendo likes to make an example out of situations. Sometimes even in situations where it's really not even that worth it. It's weird. Again, I totally understand their reasoning on why they wanted to do this, because they heard somebody else that wasn't them using the phrase Super Mario and profiting off of it. But sometimes people need to be reminded, and this also includes Nintendo, you can't always get your way. And I can just imagine Nintendo is feeling like the rug's been pulled from underneath their feet, simply because they were obviously very sure they were going to win this. And life is all about going through an experience and learning from it, and I'm hoping that Nintendo's takeaway from all of this is that you can't always go to court over very petty things and expect to win 100% of the time. And although I 100% know that Nintendo is definitely going to find somebody else to pick in court, hopefully they'll at least spare a couple of them from their wrath. But now's the point where I turn the video back to you. Do you think Nintendo should have won this case? Let me know down in the comments. I would once again like to thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. And if you did enjoy this video, why not check out another one? For whatever reason, YouTube thinks that you'll enjoy this one, so try checking out that one next. And until next time, Wadao.